Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste and a very warm welcome to yet another session in our Weekend with Wisdom series. And in this series, we have been discussing the topic Isha Stuti, composed by Swami Tejomayananda Ji. And we have with us Brahmachari Ved Chaitanya Ji, who is guiding us through the talks. We have seen 3 sessions so far in the text, and this will be the concluding session of this series. We will start this session with an invocation, inviting all of you to join me. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunattu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu, ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Over to you, Vedji.
Hari Om. Thank you. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahmavitvaram Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Neelambuja Shamala Komalangam Sita Samaropitavama Bhagam Panau Mahasayaka Charuchapam Namami Ramam Raghuvam Shanatham. Hari Om. In this beautiful short composition of Pujya Guruji Swami Tejomayananda Ji titled Isha Stuti, so far we have seen, number 1, how to prove existence of God, or how to strengthen our belief in the existence of God. That was the first topic which was taken. 5 kinds of logic were given to explain to us how that God exists and how his existence is so clearly evident. Then the topic was taken of the nature of this God. What is this God about? Who is this God? So first concept that we have understood is that God is not of any particular form. He is formless. And therefore, he is not somebody who is just sitting up in the heaven. No, he has become the world. He is the cause of the world. What kind of cause of the world? He is the efficient as well as the material cause of the world, who doesn't require any other supplementary cause or instrumental cause, and who creates the entire world on his own and becomes everything. So God is in every single part of the world. Actually, God alone is. There is nothing else. Now, when we understand this aspect, many questions that we have about God will become clear. Right? So whether he is there or not, that was already talked about. What is the nature of the God? Is God of one particular form? No. There is one God, but can have many forms. And through all forms, that same God is manifesting. Is he there up in the sky, or is he there everywhere? He is there everywhere, even up in the sky also. But generally we have the habit that whenever we refer to God, we do like this. This is not just because he is sitting there, but because he is higher than us. We also understand that he is somewhere above us. Above us in the sense that he is a kind of idol that we all need to worship so that we reach that idol. right? This is next thing. Now, few questions that generally children ask, which we also should know the answer of. Sometimes children ask this question: if God is everywhere, then why should we go to temple? If God is everywhere, then He is there in my house also, on my bed also. Then why should I get up and take bath and get ready and go to temple? Many times what happens also in the temple, there is so much of rush and so many people there, you don't even feel like going. So what to do? See, answer can be given in many ways. Gurudev used to give, Swami Chinmaya Ji used to give a very beautiful example. He used to say that milk is there in every single cell of a cow, but there is a place from where it comes out. Only one place is there. If you pull all other places, you pull her cow's ears and nose and tail, etc., milk will not come out. There is that udder from where that milk comes. In the same way, God is there everywhere, but He expresses more closely in the temple. We can also give another example that when we go to a movie in a theater, it has got enhanced experience. That same movie we can watch at our home also, on the TV, on our mobile also, right? But it will not have that experience, that enhanced experience, because there is a complete darkness in the theater and nice big screen is there, good speakers are there, and everybody has come there to watch, and therefore everybody is focusing on that. Whereas in the house, what happens, there are people walking and there is small TV. So enhanced experience for that, we go to theater. In the same way, God is there everywhere. You can experience Him in your home, on your bed also. But when we go to temple, an environment is created where the experience is enhanced, and therefore we go to temple. I am sure we have experienced this umpteen number of times, that because of that quietude in the temple, we really feel peace of mind. And that is the time when we actually are closer to God. And therefore, many people don't like to go in temples which are having so many people, so much of crowd. They want to go to a temple which is quiet. Right? So, God is everywhere, but if we want to experience, going to temple is a very good way of doing that. Now, also, having said that, we also need to understand that since it is a subjective experience, that kind of enhanced experience can be created anywhere. So sometimes when I cannot go to temple, don't say that, okay, therefore because I cannot go and therefore I am not going to think. No, sit in your own home and try to create that peace of mind and try to be closer to God. This is something that we all can do. Right? So, God is everywhere. Now, let us see the corollary of this also. If God is everywhere, then He is also in every being, or in different forms. Whether it is human beings, whether it is other beings, animals and plants and birds, whether it is inert objects. If everything is part of the world, means everything is God. We need to change our vision towards the entire world. Entire world should be experienced as God. So we cannot be angry on somebody or hate somebody or have grudge against somebody, keep getting irritated. We cannot do all that. We cannot have enmity towards any being. We cannot try to make somebody sad. We cannot do all that. Why? Because everything is God. And you see how beautifully in our Indian culture this thought is ingrained. By mistake also, our foot touches anybody, we immediately touch their feet and we say sorry. Not just beings, even some object. If I am walking and my foot touches some pad or some paper, etc., we immediately prostrate to him. Why? Prostrate to that object? Why? Because there is God in that also. Yes, God in that also. And even while putting foot on the ground, Before doing that, we prostrate to the ground saying that I don't have any option. I have to walk on you, oh dear Mother Earth. Please forgive me for that. Why? Because I am going to touch you with my feet. You see, in a simple action, a very high and powerful vision is explained. God is everywhere, in everything, as everything, and therefore our entire vision towards the world should change. Then and then alone, that devotion for God actually blossoms. Now, when we understand the nature of God, automatically feelings of love, for that Lord start to increase. It is true for anything. See, even when we are in love with some person, as we start knowing that person, our love increases. In the same way for the Lord also. So when we start understanding what is the nature of that Lord, we saw that Lord is the efficient and material cause of the Lord. He, by his own power, becoming instrument, becoming the material, has become the entire world. When we understand this, we understand the incomparable power of the Lord. And when such Lord is there with me, what should I be afraid of? This is a very important thought for a seeker. That when I have my Lord with me, my God with me, I don't have to worry about anything. I will do my duty and I will leave all the worry to that God. Also, since my God is with me, I cannot do anything wrong. I should not do anything wrong. Why? Because then I am misusing the power given by God. A responsible seeker will always think like this. Since whatever I do is by the power of God, by the grace of God, therefore I have to make sure whatever I do is good and for the benefit of the entire world, for the society. That is the only way I can actually use power of God that he has given me in a better way. All other things I should drop. Selfishness I should drop. And negative thinking I should drop. Unrighteous thoughts and actions I should drop. Why? Because I am using the power of God with me. And therefore I have to drop all these things. So when we understand that he is the creator, he is the maintainer, he is the dissolver, and having done all these things, he still remains as Brahman alone, unchanged, pure, we also start to think, what is my real nature? We saw in the last session that example of dream was given. Just as in the dream, mind creates everything, including the dreamer, and puts a beautiful show. Everything there in the dream is created by the mind alone. Without the mind alone becomes the instrument, mind alone becomes the raw material and creates everything and becomes the entire world. In the same way, this entire waking world that we experience is created by God alone. When we say God alone, Maya has created this by taking recourse to Brahman as its substratum. So on the substratum of Brahman, Maya has projected the entire world, and that is what we are experiencing. Now at this moment, one point we need to clarify and then we'll go ahead. The world that is created by God is called as jagat. Now on top of that God's world, we have created our own world, which is called as samsara. There is a difference. Example, what is this? This is a watch, wristwatch. Now this wristwatch is made by some company, etc. That's all fine. But finally, this wristwatch is God made. Why? Because whatever material is used in this is finally made by God. Whoever has created this, power is given by God only. Now, this is jagat. This is part of jagat. Now, on top of this creation of God, I create my own thing by saying that this is not just a wristwatch, this is my wristwatch. Carefully note. The moment I say this is my wristwatch, this my is part of samsara which I have created. As long as this is part of jagat world, it will not have any negative impact on my life. It cannot. Everything that is created by God is absolutely beautiful. Satyam Shivam Sundaram. That is what is the creation of the Lord. It is the final, it is Satyam, it is true, Shivam, it is auspicious, and Sundaram, it is beautiful. Problem starts where? When I create my own things on that jagat. I always tell one joke that once one wife went to God to complain, and she said, God, why did you create this thing called husband? This is so annoying thing, husband. Your all other creations are so beautiful. What is this dumb person you have created called as husband? All the time irritating me. 100 times I tell the things, but he doesn't understand. Small things also he doesn't change. After bath, he puts the wet towel on the bed only. How many times I have to tell? And even now that toothpaste, how many times I told him that you have to push from bottom, but he pushes in the between only. Why did you create this husband? God very calmly answered. He said, you see, I have not created husband. I created man. You made him your husband. As long as he was just a man, there was no problem with him which you were experiencing. When he became your husband, the problems started. My dear, there are no problems with my creation. Problems are with your creation. Think about it. As long as we are connecting ourselves with things and beings, so long the problems will be there. You see, we hear also many times, there are people suddenly they start talking about education system. Today's education system is not well, and cost of education has increased so much. For schools also we have to pay so much. The moment we listen to any of these, we have to understand that their children are going to school. See, that is the only reason they are talking about that problem. Why? Because they are facing it. If they are not facing it, people don't bother talking about it. We every day in the newspaper, we read so many accidents, this, that, etc. We don't even pay attention. But when somebody that we knew was part of that accident, then suddenly we become, what is this? Accidents are increasing, government should do something. Suddenly we become aware of that problem. Why? Because now from jagat, the problem has come to samsara, from my, connected to me. So this we need to understand. So jagat is there as it is, very beautiful. The moment we create attachment to it, the problem start. The attachment can be both ways. I like something, I don't like something, but both are kinds of attachment only, and therefore as long as there is attachment, there will be problem. In Vedanta, we are told to remove attachment so that at the end, when we get the self-knowledge, the samsara is destroyed, not jagat. Jagat may continue to be there, as the person will see the entire jagat as God himself, or as Brahman himself. You don't have to destroy it. What we need to destroy is samsara. The attachment is what we need to destroy. Right? Now that is what was said here also. Swapnepi drishto manasah prabhavah bhoktradi vishwam mana eva sarvam. In dream, mind alone creates everything, including the dreamer. And you see the power of mind. Evam chatasya apratima prabhavaha. In the same way, you see apratima. Apratima means incomparable prabhava, power of God. Ashcharyam. It's a wonder. Ashcharyamayo hi devaha. This God is indeed a wonder. A wonderful God. See, in Viveka Chudamani also, we see similar kind of concept. Swapne artha shunye srujati swashaktya bhoktradi vishwam mana eva sarvam. So that bhoktradi vishwam mana eva sarvam, Pujya Guruji is referring Vivek Chudamani, where it is explained elaborately how mind creates everything, but then identifies with one thing and starts to create differences with the entire dream world. In the same way, this waking world also, Who has created? God alone has created the entire thing. But then we identify with one body, mind, intellect, and we think that I am different from this entire world. Actually, what is the case? I am one with the world. I am one with Ishvara. I am one with God. Why? Because I am that Brahman, the substratum. And therefore, I am one with it. Ashcharyam. You see, the word Ashcharya also in Sanskrit is so beautiful. Ahcharyam. Whenever we say wah, wah, that is called as wonder. in 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says that Yadyat vibhuti mat sattvam Srimadurjitam eva tad eva avagachatvam mama tejomsha sambhava. Please understand that whatever you see in the world which is awe-inspiring, which is so beautiful, where you are awestruck, every single thing is my expression, my vibhuti. Now this is a sadhana for us. We go in the world and we experience lots of things in the world. In every single one of them, we need to see God. Oh, it is such a wonderful sadhana. Suppose somebody sings very beautiful, we should remember that, oh God, what a beautiful singer. God is expressing through that beautiful singer. When we see a beautiful dance, our attention should go from the dance or dancer to God, who has given dancer that capacity and talent to dance so well. We see a beautiful mountain, huge mountain, attention should go to God. This is real sadhana. So as we are seeing different facets of that Lord, it also gives different sadhanas for us. This is what our Parama Gurudev, Swami Chinmaya Ji Maharaj, also Guru, Swami Tapovan Ji Maharaj, he used to say this. His text, his autobiography is also called as Ishvara Darshan. See, anywhere you should see God. And Gurudev recalls also so many incidences when they are traveling from Uttarkashi to Gangotri. In between, suddenly Tapovan Ji Maharaj will just stand, looking at, so to say, nothing. But he will be thinking about, if there is a beautiful cloud taking shape, he will remember God. If there is a huge tree, he will remember God. If there is a river Gangaji flowing, he will remember God. And you see, it is so ingrained in our culture also, because we worship mountains and rivers and trees as God only, earth as God only. Why? Because it is the fact. No, that thought has to come in our life, that everything I am experiencing is God alone. Everyone that I am meeting is God alone. Every action that I am doing is inspired by that God alone, empowered by that God alone. When God becomes our life, not just part of our life, but God becomes our entire life, then realization is very, very close. That is where we have to reach. Right? Now, a person who gets this experience that God indeed is everything, God indeed is everywhere, what happens to that person? That is now said in the next verse number 11. So the sadhaka has now reached the culmination, has reached the final goal. What is that? Let us see. Verse number 11. दृष्ट्वा हि लोके महिमानमात्मनः सार्वात्म्यभावेन बुधोऽभिभूयते आनंद प्रेम परिपूर्णमनः सन् ईशस्तुतिं गातुमिह प्रवर्तते दृष्ट्वा हि लोके महिमानमात्मनः सार्वात्म्यभावेन बुधोऽभिभूयते आनंद प्रेम परिपूर्णमनः सन् ईशस्तुतिं गातुमिह प्रवर्तते. Loke, in this world, Atmanaha Mahimanam Drishtva, seeing the glory of the self. Atmanaha of the self. Mahimanam, glory. Drishtva, see. What is seeing glory of the self? Now, just now we have understood that just as in the dream, the mind that is me only, I am the one who using the mind. I have created the entire dream world, including the dreamer, and then I have identified with the dreamer. In the same way, I alone, who actually am Brahman, actually that Ishvara, have created this entire world, and I have become just identified with one upadhi, and I consider myself to be one small entity called Jiva. But actually, who am I? I am that Ishvara. Actually, who am I? I am that Brahman. So this entire world is what? Is my own glory. Seeing this glory of the self, glory of that Lord everywhere. So now what has happened? The person has reached that utmost level of knowledge. Through devotion also, through knowledge also, it doesn't matter, but has got that experience that I am everything or God is everything. Where there is no distinction between me and God and Brahman. It's one and the same. Having seen the glory, sarvatmya bhavena, by the bhava, by the understanding, experience of sarva atma asti, it is sarvatmya. Everything is me. Everything is God. You say everything is me, everything is God, it's one and the same, okay? Right? So every single thing that is experienced in the world is my own expression, is God's own expression. So a bhakta will express it as everything is God. Siya Rama mein sab jagajani, karahu pranam johri jugapani, says Tulsidas Ji Maharaj. He says that everything is Shri Rama only. Somebody may say, Narayanam idam sarvam vishwam. Everything, the entire world is Narayana only. Everything is Shiva only. This is what Bhakta will say. Jnani may say, I alone am everything. It is one and the same. Please understand, there is no distinction with the experience. It's one and the same. The expression of that experience is different. So, Sarvatmya Bhava means seeing the self in you as the self in all. It also means seeing God in everything, including yourself. Such a person, Buddha, a wise person now who has got this experience, abhibhuyate, he is overwhelmed by this experience. You just imagine, when we see something which is, so to say, great, we are so overwhelmed by that experience, isn't it? That we are stunned. We don't even know for some time how to react, how to say anything. So we are just stunned. And then that experience is so good that we start to tell it to everybody. Isn't it? That's what happens with us, yes or no? See, we go and watch some beautiful movie and some scene just moves us, and first few moments we are stunned. We don't know what to say, what not to say. And then after that, whomever we meet, we start talking about that movie. We go to a particular place, that Hampi place I went in Karnataka, so wonderful, so beautiful. What kind of sculptures are there? Oh, when I went there and I saw, I was stunned. And then whomever I met, I started telling about this. Now you imagine something of the world creates this kind of feeling. Imagine an experience which changes our entire life. Not just this life, but our lives together. Which removes that ajnana and which makes me realize that whatever I was considering so far as different from me is me. In one very beautiful movie, Matrix, in the first Matrix movie, this is very beautifully explained. That the chosen one, the one, those who have seen the movie Matrix can understand. Those who have not, please see it. It's a very Vedantic movie. Matrix means Maya. So how everybody is caught up in Maya, and there are few who have escaped and who are trying to make other people also escape. And then there comes one, the one who is trying to restore this entire system. And at the end, he till that time doesn't believe that I am the chosen one, I am that one. But at the end, that moment of realization takes place, and he sees the entire world just as Matrix, as that green lines. He doesn't see anything else. And now his entire vision is changed. There are no more buildings and pillars and beings and pistol and nothing. Everything is just a matrix. We go one step further and we say, not that everything is just Maya, but everything is that Brahman alone. Everything is that God alone, that Ishvara alone. Imagine this kind of experience when we have. What overwhelming means, the word overwhelming will become very short. It will not actually encompass our entire experience. And then what? Ananda, Prema, Paripurna Mana San. Son becoming Paripurna Mana, becoming somebody whose mind is filled with what? Ananda and Prema. Bliss and love. These are not two different things. They are one and the same. That's why he has said that our entire mind is filled with it. And becoming that, Isha Stutim Gatumiha Pravartate. Now this Jnani, this Buddha, this wise person, overwhelmed by this experience, whose mind is filled with this bliss and this love, starts to sing the glories of the Lord. What will the Jnani do? He will only sing the glories of the Lord. Why? Because there is nothing else worth doing after that. Oh Lord, you are so great. Right? So that is what will happen automatically. Now you see how beautifully journey of that seeker, of that devotee is explained. See where we started. We started where we believed that there is no God. And we have ended by saying that God alone is there. There's nothing other than God. See how beautiful is this journey, how beautiful is the final goal that is reached. And that is what happens. Overwhelmed by this experience, naturally he will start to sing the glory of the Lord. How will he sing the glory of the Lord? The song of the realized person is given in the next verse. Let us see. Verse number 12. Namo namaste stu sakala karanaya, namo namaste stu sakala vyapakaya, namo namaste stu sakala gocharaya, namo namaste stu sakala varjitaya, namo namaste stu sakala karanaya, namo namaste stu sakala vyapakaya, namo namaste stu sakala gocharaya, namo namaste stu sakala varjitaya. Namaha, namaha te astu. O Lord, prostrations unto you. Means what? Again and again I prostrate unto you. Why? I have understood that is the only thing that I can do. What a wonder. What a wonderful world created by a wonder that is God. Oh, I just prostrate unto you. Again and again I prostrate. Punahscha bhuyopi namaste. Again and again I prostrate unto you. Who are you? Sakala karanaya. You are the sakala karana. You are the cause of everything. The causeless cause of everything. Causeless cause means what? That which has no cause but has caused everything else. Sometimes children also ask this question, that if everything is created by God, who has created God? See, God is uncreated. Why? Because if something has created God, then that thing will become God. That causeless cause of the entire world is what we are calling as God. It's not a particular form, and therefore we cannot say that it is created. It is not created. It is causeless, but is the cause for everything. Namo namaste to sakala karanaya. To that causeless cause, that ultimate cause, that cause of everything, I prostrate again and again. Namo namaste to sakala vyapakaya. And how has he created? He is not created by remaining apart. He has become everything. Sakala vyapakaya. He is pervading everything. Vyapaka. That is what has happened. He has created everything not by being apart from it, but he has become everything. Namo namaste to sakala gocharaya. Everything that is seen is God alone. There is nothing other than God in this whole world. We started with the thought, God is not seen. Therefore, how can I believe in God? We have ended with the thought that everything that we see is God alone. How can we even imagine that there is anything other than God? Why? Because everything is God alone. If I am touching this watch, I am actually touching God alone. There is nothing other than God that I am experiencing. There is nothing other than Brahman that I am experiencing. So through everything, it is God only that is experienced. Yaccha kinchit jagat sarvam drishyate shruyate piva. Antar bahishya tat sarvam vyapya narayana sthita. Narayana Suktam says, whatever we see, whatever we hear, drishyate, shruyate, antar bahi, inside and outside, everything is that Narayana alone, is that Lord alone. Namo namaste. Prostrations unto that Lord who is the ultimate cause of everything, who is pervading everything, and who alone is experienced through everything, who has become everything. So who is cause of all, who is pervading all, and who is all. To that Lord I again and again prostrate. Is that it? No. Now comes the wonder. Namo namastestu sakala varchitaya. Again and again prostrations to that Lord who is without everything or beyond everything. So everything that is experienced is God, but God is still beyond all these things. Atyatishthad dashangulam. After creating everything, it is still more than that. In the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, again I am referring to, after explaining all the vibhutis and after saying that everything in the world which is wonderful, which is wondrous is my own creation, Bhagavan says, Vishtabhyahamidam kritsnam ekamshena sthito jagat. Arjuna, please understand, this entire world which is so wonderful is just created by my one amsha, one small part. I am much more than that. Means what? Everything that is experienced, experienceable, everything that is seen and seeable, everything that is understanding and understandable, everything that can be known and that is knowable, everything is God, but God is still above all these things, beyond all these things. Sakala Varjitaya, who is without all these things, who is beyond all these things. Why? Because he is, we have seen, Vivarta Karana, is not changed even a bit while creating the whole world and while becoming the whole world. He is still that Brahman which is beyond all. So he is cause of all. He is pervading everything all. He is all and he is without or beyond all. To that Lord I prostrate again and again. See how Advaita Vedanta is so beautiful. Somehow we need to remove this misconception that Ishvara or Ishvara Bhava or Bhakti is something which is different from Advaita Vedanta. It is not. It is not. It is very much integral part of Advaita Vedanta. It is a different way of explanation of Advaita Vedanta. It is one and the same. You tell me in Advaita or in Bhakti, these experiences are same. It is just a different way that it is explained. Again and again when we see all these things, I am sure we are reminded of 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan shows this Vishwarupa. And seeing that Vishwarupa, Arjuna is stunned. And this is what happens to him. At first he is stunned. He doesn't know what to say, what not to say. And then when he starts talking, he says, the only thing that I can do is just prostrate to you, O Lord. Punascha bhuyopi namo namaste. Namah purastat, namah paschat, namah dakshin, vama, everywhere I am just prostrating. Sides, I am just prostrating to you, O Lord. Why? Because you are such a wonder. And then suddenly a kind of understanding comes to Arjuna, where he says, Bhagwan, thank you for showing me this. How can I thank you? I just don't have words, but I can tell you one thing, that now I have understood what you are, what I am. I have understood. And he says, Lord, everything is at its place. Sthan prakyati. I have understood this, that everything in the world is happening exactly how you want. So that entire worry, that all the time I am irritated, I am worried what will happen to the world, and this should be like this, that should be like that. That entire worry, that irritation has gone from my life, from my mind. Why? Because I have understood everything in the world is how it has to be. I am exactly at the place where I am supposed to be. I'm exactly doing the thing that I am supposed to do. Now the only thing I have to note is I have to put my mind and soul into this, remembering that I am doing this as an offering unto you. As a seeker, this is the thought that we have to bring in our mind again and again. Wherever we are, whatever we are doing, that is where God wants us to be. जिस हाल में, जिस देश में, जिस भेष में रहो, राधा रमण राधा रमण राधा रमण कहो. Wherever we are, in whichever position, in whichever role, in whichever place, doing whichever thing, that is where God wants us to be. Let us remain there. Let us do the duty which is given by God, and let us remember that this is an offering unto Lord. There is nothing more in Advaita Vedanta than this. Bhagavan Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, after saying everything, tells Arjuna this only, again and again, Arjuna, do your duty, offer it unto me. From 2nd chapter where the Upadesha starts till 18th chapter where the Upadesha ends, again and again in every chapter Bhagavan has said this. Therefore Arjuna, do your duty and offer it unto me. Why? Because this is the final truth. Everything is God and everything is happening how it should. There is a role that is given to me in this entire cosmos. Let me do that role. Let me remember that I am able to do that just by the grace of Lord, and therefore I am offering this action to the Lord alone. Performing this kind of action, living in this world in this way, is the real Isha Stuti. Isha Stuti is praise of the Lord, is the recognition of God's presence in our life. It doesn't have to be in words. I told in the beginning also, expression of love can be in various ways. Through words, of course, but through the actions as well. When we start living this kind of life, really by that kind of living, God becomes pleased. And again, we are not even doing it for pleasing the Lord also. Why? Because we know that God is our own self and He will be pleased when I do something good. It is just, how can we even say, it's just an expression of our bliss, expression of our love for the Lord. See, even when we love some human being, and we use the word also falling in love, when we have fallen in love with somebody, we do everything for that person, isn't it? We try to do this or that, and imagine when we are in love with that infinite Lord, every single action will be expression of that love. In Shiva Manasa Puja also similar thought is explained. Atma tvam girijamati sahacharav prana shariram पूजाते विषयोपभोग रचना निद्रा समाधि स्थिति संचारः पदयोः प्रदक्षिण विधि स्तोत्राणि सर्वागिरो यत् यत् कर्म करोमि तत्तदखिलम शंभो तवाराधना. Atma tvam, you are my own self, O Lord. Girija matihi, your wife Parvati Girija is my buddhi. Sahacharaha pranaha, and all your bhuta ganas, etc., ganas which are there, these are pranas. And then what? Shariram graham, your house, your Kailasha where you stay is my body. And therefore, pujate vishayopabhoga rachna, and when staying in this body, I am experiencing different things of the world. What is this? That is puja. Nidra samadhi sthiti, when I sleep, that is samadhi. Sanchara padayoho pradakshina vidhi. I walk, I go anywhere, I am doing pradakshina only of you. Why? You alone are there in the world. Stotrani sarva agiro. Whatever I say is stotra. Not just that I am chanting stotra, whatever I say is stotra alone. Yat yat karma karomi tat tadakhilam shambho tavaradhanam. Anything, any action that I do, O Lord, is your aradhana, is your worship. See, this is the goal where we have to reach. To reach that goal, we have to do all these things. We have to go to the temple, do pradakshina and prostrate to God and worship the Lord in actual way, puja. We have to chant the name of the Lord, stotra, japa, etc. We have to sit and meditate on Lord. All that is part of the process. It will lead to this. This is where we have to reach. That is the beauty. We reach this state where we experience that everything is God. And therefore, whatever I do is the worship of that infinite Lord. Whatever I say is Lord alone. One very interesting story I had heard long back, which I like a lot from my Acharya Ji, I had heard that there was one person who used to chant Shiva Purana every day. Every day he used to chant Shiva Purana, no matter what. One day what happened, he had gone to some other village and he was returning from that village on his bicycle, and he was riding and he was coming, and he understood that it is already late and by the time I reach my house, it is going to be late. So he thought that I may not be able to chant Shiva Purana after reaching. So on the way, while I am riding, let me chant Shiva Purana. But somehow, sometimes it happens with us also, he was not getting the beginning of that Shiva Purana. Hey, everything, whatever we chant every day, sometimes we are stuck. Somehow we don't just recollect the beginning. And because we are not recollecting the beginning, nothing after that we are able to remember. So something similar happened with this person, and he somehow was not getting the beginning at all. And he got so annoyed with that, he didn't know what to do. So what he did was, he stopped at the roadside, he put his cycle and he sat down. He remembered Lord Shiva and he started chanting all the letters. A, A, E, E, U, U, A, I, O, O, Am, A, Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nga, Cha, Cha, Ja, Ja, Ya, Ta, Tha, Da, Dha, Na, Ta, Tha, Da, Dha, Na, Pa, 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 Yara, La, Vash, Sha, Sha, Sa. All the letters, he did those chanting of those letters 1,000 times. And then he prostrated to Lord Shiva and said, "Oh Lord, I am not remembering Shiva Purana right now, but I am sure you remember. I have chanted all the letters 1,000 times. Please make Shiva Purana out of it and take it as my offering unto you." Somebody had asked question, no? Powerful mantra, which mantra is more powerful, etc. You see here, power is in sadhana. Any word can become mantra. Look at this person's faith. And also, he is not saying that, okay, I am not remembering Shiva Purana, so let me drop it, leave it. No, he sat down and chanted all the letters 1,000 times. And then, with very innocence, said to Lord Shiva, "You make Shiva Purana out of it and get it, offer it unto it." In Shiva Mahimna Stotram also, there is one very beautiful verse which says, "Tava tattvam na janami kidrushosi maheshwara. Yadrishosi Mahadeva Tadrishaya Namo Namaha." What a beautiful thing. He says that Pushpadanta, who has written Shiva Mahimna Stotram, he says, "Tava tattvam na janami Kidrishasi Maheshwara." Oh Lord Shiva, I don't understand your nature because it is too difficult. Now also, when we are reflecting on it, it is difficult to understand, and therefore I don't understand your nature. But Yadrishosi Mahadeva, of whatever nature you are, Tadrishaya Namo Namaha. To that nature, to that Lord, I prostrate. I don't understand everything, but I prostrate unto you. This is what we have to reach. This is what we have to become. Isha Stuti is not just a few words. not just a few shlokas. Isha Stuti is understanding and experiencing God. Isha Stuti is living with that understanding of the Lord. That is real Isha Stuti, which is explained here by Pujya Guruji Swami Tejomayananda Ji. I had told in the beginning only, this is not a usual Stuti where we will see that one form of Lord is given and stories of that Lord or the form of that Lord is glorified. This is not that kind of Stuti. This is a Stuti which we reflect upon, understand and experience. That is real Isha Stuti. Right? So a person who has realized this keeps on singing the glories of the Lord. Namo namastestu sakala karanaya. Namo namastestu sakala vyapakaya. Namo namastestu sakala gocharaya. Namo namastestu sakala varjitaya. To that Lord I prostrate. Now Guruji concludes with the final verse as a prayer unto that Lord. Let us read. Last verse, verse number 13, 1-3. Prasanno bhavadevesha varam yachhatu no bhavan nate vismaranam bhuyat ratirnastvai sarvada. Prasanno bhavadevesha varam yachhatu no bhavan nate vismaranam bhuyat ratirnastvai sarvada. Please remember this verse. If you can memorize it, memorize it. If you cannot memorize the Sanskrit, if you just remember the meaning also sufficient. But this is the most important thing. What is he saying? Hey Devesha, O Devanam Isha, O God of all gods. We had seen Devatas are there, Indra, Varuna, Vayu, Agni, etc. You are Lord of all those Devatas also. O God of all gods, O Lord of all lords, Prasanno Bhava, please be pleased with this offering that I have given to you. With that, please be pleased. Varam yachhatu naha, Bhavan, you naha varam yachhatu, please give us this boon. Be pleased with our offering and give us this boon. And what is the boon that we are asking? See, we ask hundreds of things from the Lord. There is even and there is lot of confusion and discussion, debate happens on whether we should ask anything from God or no. There are some strong supporters who say that no, you should never ask anything from God. Whereas other people are there who say that no, you should ask from God. What is there? Now, how to resolve this dispute? You see, ideally, you should never ask anything from God, because without asking, God gives us everything that we need. Right? But if we have desire, it's better to ask from God than anybody else. Why? Because finally, God is the one who is giving us that. Isn't it? There is a famous anecdote which is shared of Akbar Badshah. It is said once in that Akbar Badshah's in the court or in the palace, one beggar entered, and soldiers stopped that beggar, saying that you cannot go inside. Why? Because Akbar Badshah is praying. He was doing namaz at that time, it is said. And when that beggar heard that Akbar Badshah is doing namaz, he started laughing loudly. Whoa! And he went away. When Akbar Badshah finished his namaz, he called the soldiers and asked, I heard some laughter. Who came? Who was laughing? So the soldiers said, one beggar came, and when we told that you wait here, you cannot go inside because Akbar Badshah is praying, he started laughing loudly and he went. Akbar Badshah said, what is this? So he told the soldiers, go and catch that beggar and bring. So they went, they caught the beggar and he brought. Akbar Badshah asked, what? Why were you laughing so much? So beggar said, no, Badshah, I was not laughing at you, I was laughing at myself. I came here to beg something from someone who is already begging to somebody else, and I was laughing at myself that why am I not begging to that Lord directly? Why am I asking something from you? If it is there, that I deserve it, my God alone will give me. So yes, ideally, you don't have to ask anything from God. You don't have to pray for anything. Why? Because God will give it anyways. But if there is anything that you want, you better ask to God. And in that also, what should be asked? You see here what kind of... So there is a praise and there is a prayer. In the first line, he says, by saying Devesha, he is praising the Lord. Oh, you are a God of all gods. And therefore, please give me this. In the previous verse also, it was a praise. Namo namaste to sakala karanaya, etc. Praise. And now the prayer comes. What is Guruji seeking? What is Guruji seeking on behalf of all of us? What should we seek from the Lord? He says, you please give me this boon. What boon? Nate vismaranam bhuyat. Te vismaranam na bhuyat. May we never forget you. May there be no moment in our life when we are forgetting you, O Lord. And why is this prayer? Because we know that Purusha Prayatna is limited. We know how much ever we try, it will not be sufficient. So, O Lord, only by your grace it is possible. And therefore we are saying, please, please give us this boon. May we not forget you. Even to remember God, we need the grace of God. Please, O Lord, give me this blessing that may I not forget you. A kind of maturity is required in seekers to come to this understanding that there is nothing higher than this. Remembering Lord at all times is the final thing. And that also is possible by God's grace alone. I always remember, and I say this many times, it's an anecdote from my own life. When I was in Yuva Kendra, a young person studying different texts of Vedanta, I was studying Tattva Bodha, I was studying Viveka Chudamani, and fascinated by all the knowledge. And you know, when you don't have that understanding, maturity of devotion, you are in your false ego and you think that you know everything. And my mother used to always sing some bhajans for the Lord. She used to just sit in front of God and she used to sing. And there is one particular bhajan, Bhagwan meri naiya usapar laga dena, ab tak to nibhaya hai, aage bhi nibha lena. Oh Lord, may you make sure that my boat crosses the ocean of samsara. So far you have taken care of me. Please, in future also, please take care of me. Beautiful bhajan is there, very well known, famous bhajan. Now, in that bhajan, there is one stanza which says, Sambhav hai jhanjato mein tujhko main bhul jaun, paranath kahi tum bhi mujhko na bhula dena. It says that it is possible that in this all, busy schedule of life, I may forget you. But oh Lord, please, you don't forget me. Now, whenever I used to listen this, I used to get very irritated and angry. What kind of, you people, all the time singing bhajans in front of Lord, Hare Rama, all the time, what kind of thing are you asking? You are clearly telling God that, oh God, I will forget you, but you don't forget me. What is this? You should take ownership on yourself and say that I will never forget you. And my mother used to smile and say that you will understand one day. This is standard reply that mothers usually give, that one day you will understand this. And children are even more irritated with this answer. But I didn't have any option also. When I actually joined the Vedanta course and when I was studying the course and when I started sadhana, that time I remembered the real meaning of that sentence. That how much ever we put efforts, we cannot guarantee that we will always remember God. How much ever we try, it is beyond human effort. And therefore, it is not that the devotee is saying that I will not do anything, you do everything. No. The devotee is saying, even after I put all my efforts, I know I will not be able to do it. Therefore, O Lord, please bless me that I am able to remember you at all times. Please understand the difference. A tamasic and a sattvic person will always look similar. Tamasic person doesn't want to do anything and therefore will say that God will do everything. Sattvic person puts all the efforts that are required and then says God alone does everything. There is a difference. I will try to remember God at all times, but I know by my own efforts it's not going to happen. Therefore, O Lord, please bless me with this boon that may I never forget you. What a beautiful thing. In life, in sadhana, in Vedanta, this is the ultimate thing. This is the final thing. There is nothing required after this. Nate vismaranam bhuyat ratihi naha tvai sarvada. May sarvada at all times naha ratihi, our love, tvai, be in you. May we always revel in the devotion of you. May we always be in love with you. If at all you want to be in love with somebody, the only person with whom you should be in love with is God. May I never forget you. May I always be in love with you. What a beautiful thing to say. In Maharashtra, Varkari Sampradaya, Abhangas, etc. are very famous. There's such a great lineage of sadhus, of great saints, where their compositions of Lord are chanted, sung in every nook and corner. Whether it is Namdev Maharaj Abhanga or Jnaneshwar Maharaj or Tukaram Maharaj or Chokha Mela or Janabai, so many saints are there whose Abhangas are chanted. And in the Parampara, there is a there is a tradition that we may do the entire program of Abhangas, but we always conclude with one Abhanga of Tukaram, Sant Tukaram Maharaj, which says, Hechi dana dega deva tuza visarana vava. The same thought is, expressed in that also. Hechi dana dega, oh Lord, please give us this boon alone. What? Tuza visarana vava. May we never forget you. That is the only boon that we are asking. That is the only thing that we are asking. We don't want nalage mukti dhana sampada. I am not even asking for moksha. I am not asking for any worldly thing, dhana, sampada, etc. I am not asking for wealth. I am not asking for position. I am not asking for fame, name, etc. I am not even asking for spiritual liberation. The only thing that I am asking is, may we never forget it. Guna gaina avadi hechi maji sarvasode. The only thing that I will do is I will keep singing your glories. Why? Because that's the only thing that any jnani, any wise person will do. And therefore, please, Lord, please make sure that I never forget you. Santa Sangade Sada, he says. That may we always be in company of saints and sages. Why? Because of them, I will remember God. Why? Because saints are only talking about God or the devotees of the Lord. And therefore, by being in company of these saints, by being in company of such devotees, I will also remember and revel in the glory of the God, of the Lord alone. And therefore, O Lord, O Bhagavan, please give me this one boon. May I never forget you, and may my devotion for you keep on increasing. In Vedanta, there is nothing greater than this. We may study hundreds of books. We may master many schools of philosophy. But finally, it comes down to this. The experience of that supreme reality will happen only when our mind is pure and there is clarity in our understanding. And both of those things will come by devotion unto Lord. Again, I am urging you to please understand that there is no difference between bhakti and Vedanta. These are not two different things. These are very much in tune with each other, integral part of each other. This is really Stuti, that we come to experience this Lord in and through everything. Right? As we said, it is only by the grace of the Lord that we have this chance of singing His glories. So we thank Lord Himself for giving us this opportunity to sing His glories and to reflect on all the points that we have reflected upon. It is indeed by His grace that we are able to worship Him. So as the tradition, we will chant the first verse of the text again to remind us that we have not completed the study of the text, but we have only started the study of this text. We have gone through it once, but we should go through it again and again. For this, we will chant the first verse of this wonderful text and we will conclude today's discourse. First verse together we will chant. Bahudha kalpyamanopi nirvikalpas savartate Ishvara sarvabhutanam yastameva namamahe. We prostrate, we bow down to that Ishvara who is the Lord of all beings. Bahudha kalpyamanaha api sah nirvikalpa vartate. Who is thought of in many ways but still remain without or beyond all thoughts, beyond all imaginations. To that Lord of all beings we bow down to. I thank Indica Moksha and Advaita Academy for giving me this opportunity to reflect on this wonderful composition of Pujya Guruji Swami Tejomayananda Ji. I also thank all the attendees who are here and who will be listening on YouTube, etc. And what can I say about the author of the text? He is our Guru, Pujya Guruji. No amount of words of thanking are sufficient. It's because of him that we are able to reflect on all these ideas in so wonderful way. My prostrations at his feet, at the feet of the Lord, Sri Rama, at the feet of Pujya Gurudev and entire Guru Parampara for bringing this knowledge to us. Thank you everyone. Whatever you have liked in this series of talks, all belongs to the Parampara. Whatever you did not like, whatever you did not agree, whatever wrong I have said, all belongs to me. We offer this entire Vak Puja, worship in the form of talking, speech, at the feet of the Lord Himself. Om Tat Sat, Shri Rama Arpanamastu. Hari Om. We can go for question answers. Yes.
Thank you, Vedji. The first question is it Jiva who has created the samsara? Upon realizing the self, are we out of samsara?
Yes, Jiva has created samsara, and when we realize our oneness with the Supreme, samsara is destroyed. Yes, you are absolutely right.
Wonderful. One of the seekers is asking for the English version of the composition.
There is no PDF file for that, but on the same page of Indica Moksha, one link is given to a booklet on this hymn to hymn, on this Isha Stuti, which booklet is there where Sanskrit verse, its English translation, word to word translation also, overall translation also, and little commentary is there. In your chat also, that link is posted. You can order it online and that booklet will come to you. Thank you for asking. Yes.
One of the seekers is expressing their gratitude and their willingness to listen to these talks, the recordings again and again, and reflect on these. Right. There aren't any more questions.
Yeah. We'll wait for a minute,
yes, sure.
In case any question comes. Otherwise, we will conclude. In the meantime, please keep on studying different texts and keep on doing your sadhana well. I wish you all the best to all the students. Indica Moksha is also doing brilliant job of bringing these gems of scriptures to common people. Please keep going to their website, going to their YouTube channel, Facebook, etc., and keep making use of all the satsang, online satsang which is available. At the same time, Chinmaya International Foundation is also offering so many such opportunities. Please make sure that you visit this place physically also. This is Adi Shankar Nilayam, birthplace of Bhagavan Shri Adi Shankaracharya. His maternal birth home is here. So please do visit, and in online, offline, in any way possible, please keep in touch with this knowledge and with sadhana. I think there are no more questions. Are there?
Oh, there is one question that is just come. What sadhana would you suggest for this text to a normal sadhak?
If we reflect on the ideas given in this text, that itself is a great sadhana. If we keep on remembering in what way Guruji has explained that God exists and what is the nature of that Lord, even reflecting on these ideas itself is a great sadhana. So if we can just keep on revising the points that we have understood in this text, that itself can become a great sadhana.
Wonderful. Is only remembering the name enough? So in that case, would attending satsang not be required?
Only remembering the name is enough, but our problem is we forget to remember the name. Satsang helps us to remember the name. Therefore, satsang is required to remind us to remember the name, and when we remember the name, that is sufficient. I hope I have clarified.
Lovely. And as you mentioned, it is important to also realize that devotion is an integral part of the Vedanta, and to see it as separate and apart is very futile. So that was very insightful and important, Vedji. On that note, I think we can conclude. There are no more questions. On behalf of Indica Moksha, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Vedji. Thank you so much for accepting this invitation and doing these talks on our platform. We wish to have you very soon for more and more such talks for the benefit of our viewers and for ourselves. Dear viewers, you can find the recordings of these sessions on our YouTube channel. You can search for Advaita Academy on YouTube, and also on our FB page, which is Indica Moksha. Please stay tuned, and we will be coming up with more updates your way. Thank you so much. We shall conclude now with a prayer.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om.
Hari.